Lesson number 84 is about formats for the addition rule, negative coefficients, and properties of equality. Now, our addition rule for equations is an important one, and you need to make sure you get this in your notes. The addition rule for equations says the same quantity can be added to both sides of an equation without changing the solution to the equation. Please pause the video now to make sure you get this in your notes. Let's look at our first example, and we're going to use that addition rule for equations. It says, use the new format in algebraic addition to solve. Now, in this problem, if we were going to solve it, well, x plus 5 is equal to 7. We know that x must be equal to 2, because if we have 2 plus 5, we're going to get 7. That's definitely true, but that's not our new format, and that's not algebraic addition. So we're going to erase what we have here, and we're going to solve this a different way to find our answer of 2. Now the new format just means, well, whatever we want to add to one side, we've got x plus 5. Well, to undo addition, so we get x by itself, we're going to subtract. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. When we subtract 5 from both sides, we get x plus, well, 5 minus 5, that's 0, is equal to 7 minus 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. X plus 0, well, that's just x. So x must be equal to 2. We got our same answer. We used a little bit different method to solve, but regardless of the method, we've got x is equal to 2. This method is going to be helpful in our next example. Let's look at it now. Here we want to solve 2x plus 1/2 is equal to 3/4. Now we want to figure out what x is equal to. That's our goal in the end, to know what x is equal to. So we need to undo all the other operations that we have. Well, if we want to undo addition of 1/2, we're going to subtract 1/2. What we do on one side, we have to do on the other side as well to balance out our equation. So we're going to 2x plus 0, well, we don't need to write that, is going to be equal to 3/4 minus 1/2. Now for 3/4 minus 1/2, we know when we have fractions we need to have the same denominator. So 3/4 minus, well, least common multiple of 2 and 4 would be 4. 1 is half of 2, so we're going to rewrite and get 2/4. 3/4 minus 2/4, well, that must be equal to 1/4. Now we can rewrite again. We're going to get 2x is equal to 1/4. Now if we have 2x is equal to 1/4, we need to figure out what number times 2 is equal to 1/4. Well, to undo multiplication of 2, we're going to have to divide by 2, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. That leaves x by itself. That's exactly what we want. Now to balance out our equation, we're going to divide by 2. Well, let's work this problem out on the side. We have 1/4 divided by 2 over 1. We know when we divide fractions that we have to copy dot flip, so we're going to get 1/4 times 1/2. 1/4 times 1/2 must be 1/8. So now we've got our answer. X must be equal to 1/8. We could go ahead and box this and move on to our next question. Here we have negative 3x is equal to negative 12. Well, do you know what number you have to multiply by negative 3 to get to negative 12? If you do, that's our x value. If you don't, that's okay, because we want to get x by itself. So if we want to get x by itself, we have to undo the multiplication of negative 3. So we're going to divide by negative 3, because negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. So we're just left with x. What we do on one side, we do on the other to balance. And negative 12 divided by negative 3. Negative divided by a negative must be a positive, and 12 divided by 3, that must be 4. So we've got our answer. X must be equal to 4. Let's look at one more example. Here we're going to do the same thing. We have negative 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. Solve means figure out the value of x that must make this equation true. So we need to undo the addition of 4 by subtracting 4. That will leave us with negative 3x plus 0 is equal to 10 minus 4, that's 6. Now, do you know what number you need to multiply by negative 3 to get to 6? If you do, good, write it down. That's your answer. If you don't, that's okay, because we can divide by negative 3 to undo the multiplication of negative 3 times x. We'll balance that out by dividing negative 3 on the other side, and 6 divided by negative 3, well, that must be negative 2. We've got our final answer. We can box it, and then we move on to our next question. Lesson practice today will be on page 264. Make sure you've got your notes complete, and I'll see you during our next class.